Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Take Two Podcast. While The Rock's raising the bar for streaming, we're raising the bar for podcasting. This is episode 256. We've got a absolutely loaded show for you today. 7 different reviews. Every single segment that we do, that includes your podcast recommendation. That's a what's in the glass, your box office, your poll results, DC, Marvel, Hollywood news. We got it all for you guys today. We would like to thank you, listeners, for joining. I'm Brian, joined by Tony. What up?
What's going on? I'm actually excited to get into some of these reviews because we got to the theater, we got to watch some stuff at home. We're kind of all over the place. We got a first take on a show that we're going to talk to you guys about. A lot of good reviews, I think, actually. So I'm looking forward to talking about it. And big box office weekend to talk about. So that's positive news and just a ton of news. Lots of stuff to talk about today. So I'm excited.
Shang-Chi, Worth, Vacation Friends, Only, Murders in the Building, Green Knight, Riders of Justice, and another episode of Untold, the Crimes and Punishments ep. We ended last week, for the most part, or at least last week's box office, saying we're really interested in what's going to happen Labor Day weekend. To that, when we get to the box office, folks, don't forget that we record on Monday, so we won't have your full things. But I won't step on your thunder there. But I was excited to see the numbers. I'm excited what we do. Get to the box. Quick promotion stuff real quick, guys. If you are a Patreon member, woohoo! You are the elite of the elite. If you're not, what are you doing? It's only $1. $1 a month gets you exclusive content, at least 2 episodes of podcasting per month, merchandise and stuff to wear and shout-outs and all kind of fun stuff. Shout-outs, you say? Roy, Craig, Vaughn, Katz, Chris, Ryan, and G-Banger. You guys are our loyal patrons. Thank you very, very much. There's more than $1 tier. There's 4 different tier levels you can jump on. Your choice. A lot of fun options in there. Patreon.com, Take 2 Podcast.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're not on it yet, I don't know what you're doing, literally, because $1 gets you like 40 episodes instantly accessible to you for $1. So even if you just did 1 month and listened to them all and got rid of us again, that's fine. But give us a shot because honestly, those are some of our favorite episodes we've done. A lot of different stuff. You know, this is your current, you're up to date every week. Let's review what's out. Let's give you the news. Those episodes are totally different. So if you want a little different flair from us, try out our Patreon, even if it's just for 1 month for $1.
A quick shout out to the Half Popped Reviews website. We made friends with them on Twitter over the weekend, and we were just chit chatting. I was like, "You guys are a lot of fun." I'm just going to throw you a quick shout out. So, guys, halfpoppreviews.com, and then you can find them on Twitter and stuff like that. Go check out their stuff. They did some good reviews. You know, there was a time you and I would write for our website.
Sure, yeah.
And it was just like we have, because our shtick is talking, and you can hear our reviews here. There's no point in that, but theirs is still the written word, and they still have it written word on the internet. It's not on actual pen and paper.
Yeah. And actually, I guess close to me, right? I think you were the one who talked to them. I didn't get a chance to jump in the conversation, but close to me. So may have to try and link up with them at some point and get together and do a little collab or something.
I was honored to chat with Miss Maria Breeze over the weekend. She's an actress and a producer. She's very up against. She has an established IMDb page if you check it out. But she's got some big things coming up. She has a Netflix film, so we're probably going to talk to her again. That comes out in November. Go check out that. You can listen to the podcast that's in your feed right now, or YouTubers, you can go watch her and myself on YouTube and watch the interview. It's only like 13 minutes long, but we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and don't forget, I didn't see any submissions, but the challenge is out there. If you want to be put in for that free coffee mug, go subscribe to our YouTube, go give us the reviews and the ratings on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast app you use to listen to us. If you do those things, you're instantly in the running to get that free coffee mug. I've actually got 2 of them to give away, so let's do it, guys.
Lastly, for you folks that you need to be catching up on, we have a spotlight that just dropped 2 days ago this past weekend. Denis Villeneuve. Villeneuve. You want to hear me butcher some French, folks, just jump onto that spotlight at the very least. It's not our lengthiest ep, obviously, because he doesn't have the most directorial credits, but we do dive deep on some things. We do chit-chat, on some stuff that you guys should be watching. There's some shows in there that he's produced and directed that I know a lot of you haven't seen. Jump on right now, that spotlight on Denis.
Yeah.
Good morning, folks.
Yeah, he's only got, 9 movies that people would even have a chance to see, and I'd say only maybe 5 of those are actually well-known to American audiences. And so, yeah, go listen to us. Hopefully that'll inspire you to do some homework and check out this guy's master stroke every time he gets behind the camera, because they're all great films.
Speaking of listeners, you mentioned, and this is the last thing I promise, folks, and we'll get into the actual show itself. Last week's episode 255, obliterated the record for week 1 downloads. I mean, by over 50 downloads from the previous record. Destroyed it. I don't know what it was about last week's show that you guys liked. The return of Tony, like, because you had taken the week
I
off.
took a week off. Yeah, there you go.
I won't be offended by that in one bit. I cried for like an hour. But any of you guys that decided to stick around from the record-breaking performance last week that you gave us, welcome. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. It's awesome. And if you don't mind, how about we break it again this week?
Yes, that would be amazing. And if you are a new listener, please reach out to us and let us know. Follow us on all of our socials and say, hey, I just started downloading the show last week. Love what you guys are doing. Let us know. Let us know you're here. Be part of the conversation. But yeah, amazing episode numbers. I have a feeling that it's because of the titles. And we put Peters in the titles. And I think that's people were like, yep, let's get some Peters.
Yeah, whenever there's like an innuendo style title,
we have better downloads.
There was one that was our number one ep of all time, way inside baseball, everybody listening. And it wasn't you or I on the episode, and the title has something to do with Uranus.
Yes.
And it was like our number one ep.
Uranus or something, and it was.
And I'd been furious. I was furious for years. I was like, "That's our number one ep because it says Uranus." All right, so we'll have to figure out some innuendo for this week's title, just for the downloads.
Yep.
All
right. You ready to get into it?
Yes, sir. Box office, please.
The box office results. And like I said, this is very positive. I was excited when I opened up the results, and I was like, movies are back. We've kind of done this a couple times already, like in the last couple months. Like, ooh, could this be the thing that changes the momentum? But I hope that this is very positive news for the industry going forward. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, $71.4 million for the 3-day weekend. That's not your 4-day. Like we said, we record on Monday morning, so we don't have your full holiday weekend, but we always just report 3-day anyway. So Shang-Chi, number one, 71.4. Best Labor Day opening of all time, which I was surprised by that
Same.
Even in the COVID era, that this is number one. And then to look at the previous record holder, did you see what it was? 30.6 for Halloween in 2007, the Rob Zombie one. And I'm like, what? How was that the previous Labor Day weekend holder? Like, that's crazy to me.
Why did he release on Labor Day? Makes me question that. But I guess Labor Day has never been the biggest movie weekend. Kids are going back to school.
Yeah.
One less hurrah at the pool, that kind of thing, I suppose. But either way, 71 million, that's a hell of a record.
It is, and especially because the original predictions for the weekend were more like 40 to 50 range. Everything I saw pre-weekend was, it'll do about 40, 50, whatever. And now they've kind of upped that. They're expecting it to be closer to 83, 85 for the 4-day even. So that's a pretty good number. This is the second highest debut since COVID. The other one was Black Widow. Black Widow debuted with 80 plus. And they were actually also available on demand at home, so they had a little extra money there. So I guess technically Black Widow had a better debut still, but this one was theater exclusive, and this also adds into that argument. Is this the way to go? Should they have made it would this movie have made as much in the theater if it was available at Disney Plus? Probably not. Probably would have made maybe 40 million, and then 30 million of it would have been people watching at home. So maybe a good choice on their part. And I know my theater I saw, it was pretty busy in the lobby. Decent number of people in the theater with me. We saw it on a Sunday afternoon early, and it was kind of busy. This was in 4,300 theaters, so one of the bigger theater counts so far of the COVID era as well. 13.2 million of their total was from IMAX screenings, so that's encouraging. And I did notice while watching the movie, we'll talk about it maybe during the review, but there were some like 3D-ish kind of moments and things like that, so people are going to want to see that in the big format, Average per theater, over $16,000 per theater that it showed in. That's a big number, one of the bigger of the era right now. Tacked on another 56.2 overseas for a 139.7 worldwide debut in 3 days. And that, most importantly, is without China. It is not released in China yet. So that's I'm sure it's going to do well in China based on what the movie is and what the subject matter is. So good on Shang-Chi. Very positive numbers for this movie. The only thing I don't know about for the rest of the month of September is there really aren't that big of films releasing the rest of the month. Like until we get to October and November, and even some of those movies have now moved. We'll talk about that a little later. Like September's a little bit of kind of like a dead zone as far as movies that are coming out. So will Shang-Chi continue to just dominate? I hope so.
Sure. Agreed. Marvel needs the money. So.
Yeah, there you go. So number 2 was Candyman for the weekend. It made another 10.6. Candyman.
No. I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna freaking hang up.
Do you have a mirror around? I don't know. How does that work? So that is now at 39 domestic. I had the numbers here for the full thing, and I did not write it down. I'm sorry, but it's 39 domestic. It's doing well. Free Guy, 8.7 for the weekend, 91.9 domestic, so it's getting close to the 100 number as well.
Get there, baby.
Yeah, Paw Patrol made another 4. It was 4th place. It's at 30.3 domestic. Jungle Cruise rounded out the top 5 with just under 4, and it's at 105.6 domestic. Some of these movies that are doing well still overseas. Candyman, not so much. Only made 10 overseas. I think that is more of a U.S. product, and those kind of horror movies maybe don't play overseas as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at 52 total. But then Free Guy has made 147 overseas. So it's at 242 basically worldwide. That's a pretty good number for Free Guy. And it has had some staying power. It stayed in that top 3 since it came out.
Sure. Yeah.
Same thing with Paw Patrol. We talked about it before. It's available on Paramount Plus if you're a subscriber, and it's still making money. 30 million here. It's made 50 million overseas. It's at 82 million for Paw Patrol. That's crazy to me. So, and then same thing with Jungle Cruise, just to round out their numbers. They made another almost 87 internationally, so they're close to 200 million worldwide. Pretty good numbers. Those top 5 are actually doing really well and having some staying power, so I like that. I think those are all positive signs of what's to come, and that we're turning a corner, hopefully, in the box office. People are wanting to go to the movies again.
Beautiful. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Now watch the next couple weeks. We're going to be like, the box office was down. This movie sucked. It didn't do as well, so...
All right, there it is for the box office. Let's jump on over to our poll results.
Yeah, the poll results, you you guessed it last week. It was the beginning of a new month. So I do this every month. Beginning of the month, check in. What are you most excited for as far as movie releases for September? Gave you 4 options of Shang-Chi. I kind of tried to really spread out the love of different genres and things like that. So Shang-Chi, Malignant, which is releasing next week. It's also going to be available at home, but it's a horror movie. Dear Evan Hansen, the musical, and then Eyes of Tammy Faye is a drama. It's supposed to be kind of Oscar-y, maybe, whatever. So those were the 4 options given. Actually, I want to say, oh, hi. Originally, I had a different movie in there besides Tammy Faye, but it moved off the schedule. So I had to... I'll let you think of which one that is. So there you go. Shang-Chi won, though, obviously. No problem there. 60% of the people wanted to see that. I will say Malignant kind of grew as the weekend went on. It ended up getting about 29% of the vote.
Oh, wow.
So it kept getting some votes throughout the weekend. Good on it. I was most surprised by Dear Evan Hansen coming in last place. Only 4% of people are interested in seeing that movie, and only 7% Eyes of Tammy Faye. I thought for sure Eyes of Tammy Faye would be the low one because I didn't think most people knew about it, really, to be honest. But yeah, Dear Evan Hansen, that might be a big stinker this month. I think that may not give us any kind of box office.
Wow. That's interesting.
We had a couple other comments over on Instagram. Cats shouted out Shang-Chi. The Movie Chatter podcast said Malignant. Facebook, we had a couple more Facebookers there. Craig said he would have said Dear Evan Hansen. That was his original kind of most anticipated, but recently Shang-Chi, the promotion and things like that of it, got him to really want to see that instead. Awesome. Troy also shouted out Shang-Chi. He said that'll be the first time he's been in the theater since January of last year. So good to get him back in the theater to go see Shang-Chi. And I wonder if there's a lot of people that were like that. Like this is maybe the first time they're coming out for a big movie in over a year.
Nice.
And then over on Twitter, MCU and me podcast and Backlook Cinema, I think is what it was. They both shouted out Shang-Chi as well. So a couple comments there on all the formats. So I love that. As always, polls up on Thursdays. Please do that. Not just vote, but retweet it so your friends can vote. Or if you're on Instagram, Facebook, make sure you talk about it and give us some comments. Go in our stories on Instagram. I posted in there as well. That's your place to talk and be mentioned on the show. It's good fun. So thanks for all our contributors this week.
Here we go, folks. We have 7 big reviews for you guys, and we're going to lead things off with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah, the Ten Rings will return. Spoiler alert.
Okay. That's the review.
Did you stay for 2 different stingers? I had to say something to one lady was leaving, and I was like, we're getting another one. Better take a seat. Wait 10 minutes through these credits. And I will say, obviously, I jumped to the end of the movie here, but those were worth it. It was fun to get back into that, right? Yep. Like a Marvel movie, and you want to wait for those. That was fun to do.
Same thing. I saw one guy. The guy got up, and his girlfriend was like, "Oh, Remember?
What are you doing? Yeah, what are you doing?
There's more scenes. And he was like, oh, right. And like sat back down. And I saw a bunch of people online on the old socials, not ours, but just in general, like, can't believe people were leaving a Marvel movie. Did you guys forget what you're supposed to do? You forgot the rules you're supposed to stay. But
well, it's funny because I don't think Black Widow had that, obviously,
it just
because
had
it
the
was like
one.
the end of her chapter, basically. So yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, let's start off the review. I'm going to start off just giving my general thoughts. This is mid-tier Marvel for me. I would put it maybe just outside the top 10 of these Marvel movies. It was a good film. I enjoyed my time with it. It's not the best, because I got out of the theater and I talked to my wife. She's like, well, how was it? Was it as better than Black Panther? I was like, no. She's like, what about Thor Ragnarok? No. Like, I would definitely like those movies and watch those movies more. However, that being said, this was really good. And I will, like, to make a short comparison, this is the Asian Black Panther in a way. Like, you felt like you were getting immersed in that culture. You're getting introduced to a whole new thing. I'll give props to all the score, the soundtrack, the production design, the costuming. It's perfect for what you need to do. Just like Black Panther did before. It set that tone. It put you in the world. And I think they did a great job of that.
Sure.
$150 million budget. I guess you can see that on the screen with the amount of CGI. That was a little surprising to me going in. I didn't know we were going to get that. The amount of like CGI kind of creatures and stuff. But it looked good. I thought they pulled it off well.
Sure.
I think there's something to be said about going into a movie not knowing anything about the character. I think that made me enjoy it even more because I was like, I have no clue where we're going. I don't know these characters. I don't know their backstory. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy and learn, So overall, very, very enjoyable, typical Marvel movie, what you expect, though, I think.
I think I'm a smidge higher than you. I'm in the 9 to 11 range all time. I could talk myself into, and we'll talk about why it's not higher. That third act is what has kept it down for me. But if we're ranking things, the bus fight scene has to be maybe top 3 Marvel fight scene. Like that was
very good, right? Very good, and it kind of got you right into it too. Like they really didn't waste a lot of time up front before you got that, which was great.
Sure. And to that note, or to your note of I don't know anything about this character, I wasn't knowing that he already had the ninja skills. You know what I mean? And I was Awkwafina in the movie. I was like, wait a second, where did this come from? I wasn't ready for that. Like I thought we were going to have to go through a whole training thing, with this guy. No.
Which we kind of did, but it was in more like flashbacky,
Right.
And I like the use of Awkwafina in that way. She's basically the audience surrogate. Like she's the American who just gets kind of thrown into it, and it's like we're learning along with her through this. And that was kind of smart to use her. And I was worried. You remember the first trailer? I was worried that she was going to be annoying or overused. I thought she was good. I thought they used her just the right amount, a little bit of interjections of comedic relief here or there. And like I said, using her as that audience surrogate, I think worked well to introduce us to the world.
I agree. I actually enjoyed her very much. So we stretched it a little bit with her ability to learn how to use a weapon later on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Chinese. I thought she didn't know Chinese, and all of a sudden she knows Chinese.
Yeah, that's right. She was understanding everybody once we got to there. For me, first and second acts were first act phenomenal. Second act really good. Third act. Once we got into the CGIing, I was like, oh.
Yeah. It did take you back a little bit, right? And same thing. I didn't check my watch till over an hour into the film. And I wasn't doing it out of boredom, but I was just like, where are we in the movie, So I was really pretty far into the movie before I was even thinking of that. And then, like you said, near the end, you're just like, how much more we got of this, like, stuff? So, that did get a little taxing in the very end of the movie.
I agree. I mean, we've already kind of given you our rating, so if we're both putting it around top 10 all-time of Marvel, in that area, I think Simu Liu he's going to become a star. I loved him. I haven't done the research. Has he been in really anything else that we would know him from? No, because I tweeted that exact sentence. I was like, wait, before I say that, maybe I should go back and check. And no, he hasn't. He's done like one episode background work. Well, he's been building his way up. But,
That's crazy. And you did you get the little intro video before your movie?
No.
Of them. We got like a little intro talking about Shang-Chi and the making of, and it was like interviews with the people and Feige and him. And he's like, I tweeted to Marvel, like, I want, or hey, can we talk about Shang-Chi, whatever. Like, this is a guy who's an unproven actor and is like, I want to be Shang-Chi. And it paid off for him. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't see the video, but I saw that, like, he reshared that or whatever on his Twitter. He's very active on Twitter, which is awesome. Other characters were fantastic. I thought the other side characters were phenomenal. I think it's now a new Marvel thing for your main superhero to have a hot aunt.
Yeah, that's nice, huh? Michelle Yeoh, which I
Yeah.
didn't even think about it till we left the movie. I was like, wait a minute, she was already in a Marvel movie because she
Which
was
one
in
was she?
Guardians 2. She was one of the extra like Ravagers that they introduced.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, so I was
okay.
like, that's interesting that they don't do that too often where they reuse characters. But yeah, she
Sure.
was great. We get Benedict Wong in here a little bit to tie in with the Doctor Strange, and I was wondering that going into this movie, like how are they going to tie him in, and how are they going to bring him into the rest of the group and that kind of stuff. So you do kind of understand that through the movie using
Hmm.
Wong, and then the first post credit scene kind of gives you a little bit more like what they're doing there. So that was
Yeah.
smart. What do you think about the use of Ben Kingsley in this movie?
You know what? I can't decide, to be honest.
I'm kind of there too. I thought it was a cute, fun thing and a way to harken back to like the original Iron Man and really tie it back
Mhm.
in. And I like even the commentary by the father where he was talking about, this guy was trying to play a version of me. Like it was smart to them to like retcon that in a way, I thought.
Right, right, right.
But then Ben Kingsley was fine, but I was like, we already had Aquafina as our comedic relief. Like we didn't need another guy doing the
Hmm.
same kind of shtick. And then like here's a fun little CGI animal. Like we just have to do that.
Fun
Like I
nothing.
feel
It
like,
had no face. That thing creeped me out.
but I feel like stuff like that to me is like the influence of Disney on
Ah,
Marvel. Like I don't know if we'd have that if it weren't for Disney being like the overlord of Marvel.
it's
You know what I'm
valid.
saying? Like
Sure.
let's make it funny every chance we can get, and let's add in something that the kids are gonna want to buy, a little stuffed animal, this ugly thing, whatever.
Right.
So yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if I love the Ben Kingsley thing, or maybe it should have just been even less used, like one or two scenes and that was it, and just, get rid of them.
Agreed. Agreed.
I will say I really enjoyed the use of your villain, if you will, the dad. I thought that's a smart way to write a villain, where we don't just have he's very gray, like he's still my dad, but he's also the bad guy. Like I like the way that that's used in this movie,
Hmm.
and Tony Leung he's one of the best Asian actors of all time. Like if you look at his filmography, he's been in tons of stuff over there.
Sure.
He was in Infernal Affairs, which is like the original version of Departed. Um, he's been some other like Cannes-winning films. I'm in the Mood for Love, Chungking Express. He's been in a bunch of stuff that's like big Asian cinema. So that's a big name that maybe
Yeah.
U.S. audiences don't know. And he's really good. He sells his role the entire way.
Sure.
So I thought he was great. He was one of the standouts of the movie for me. Um, the director, Destin Daniel Cretton, I'm gotta say I'm impressed
Mm.
because he'd only done really Short Term 12 and Just Mercy, like a couple movies that are nothing like this.
Mm-mm.
So for him to take on a huge budget action movie and really do a good job of paying homage to Asian culture and a lot of those fight scenes and the way they're choreographed and all that stuff, great
Sure.
job. Knocked it out of the park there, so good job. Um, Florian coming back to be Razor Fist. I was like, wait a
Yes.
minute, that's the dude from Creed. I was like, cool. I didn't think he'd ever work again, to be honest. So that was cool. And they kind of gave him a lot to do. They gave him a lot of scenes and
Hmm.
implications of him continuing to move
I
forward in
was
the
gonna say,
series.
is he gonna be sticking around? Yeah.
So I was like, that's cool for him.
Spoiler.
It was also, yeah, I guess, whatever.
Sorry.
Also cool. I did like the Fight Club thing, the little underground Fight Club, and like I said, the way they worked in Wong and Abomination. We already saw that in the trailer. But then they also did you pick up on there was one of the Black Widows in there fighting as well.
Oh,
From
really? No, I
yeah,
missed it.
they said, oh, great job, Helen, whatever. That was one of the Black Widows from
Oh,
the Black Widow
nice.
movie. So that was kind of cool, little
Sneaky
Easter eggy
bugs.
tie-in. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
I thought that
trying to
actually
think.
the Abomination, the Wong, like was almost not a letdown, but for as hype as we were in the trailer, we're like, oh my
Yeah,
God, what is he back? What is he? And then I was like, oh no, he's in this whole Fight Club thing. And then they talk afterwards, it was kind of like, oh, all right, there's this whole world that just occurs, and it's like this villain who tried to
yeah.
destroy a city once. Here he
Yeah,
is.
I know. So my son was like, "Are we gonna get like a Wong show? Like, I'm here for this. Like, I want to see what he's doing with Abomination. I want to see
Yeah.
where we already saw him in the Spider-Man trailer where he's going through the little circle, like going somewhere. So it's like,
Mhm.
where's he going? Who's he playing around with? Like, that could be a whole show on its own. Let's see it.
That's valid. Forget
Um,
Captain America returning the stones. Just have Wong interacting with every single character. I don't know.
yeah, why not? I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I don't know. There was other
It
minor
was good,
characters,
man. It
whatever.
was very good. I enjoyed every minute of it. At the end we had a little dragon on dragon action, which I was just like, I was
Yeah,
thinking maybe if and super super spoilery. All right, at this point, folks, if you're listening, maybe if the souls then like took in his dad's body and we had to get like this ultimate showdown human versus human
Instead of
type
the
fight,
dragon.
instead of this Gorgamogan, what are they called in Stranger
Yeah.
Things? Whatever they are. That's
Demogorgon, yeah.
Demogorgon. Thank you. Like, I don't know. At that point, I was kind of like, oh, all right, I guess. And then he's able to now harness
And
the
he's
power.
and he's riding on the dragon like it's a never-ending story or whatever.
And they had just met the no-face creature 20 minutes ago, the day before. So now we're okay with having. So at that point, I was like, oh wow, we really. That's right. We are watching a superhero movie. We are watching it, and they didn't get into things like this is a totally different universe. Like they didn't talk about that a lot. It was just like, no, you're gonna go through a portal. You're in a universe. Okay, let's rock on.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's
That was.
why I'm looking forward to the evolution of his character or using it in the series going forward. I just want to see him kicking ass as a martial artist.
Sure.
And with those rings, like I don't need the creature stuff. So if we put him into like an Avengers type movie or just have him, he's not gonna be doing that. He's not gonna be riding on the freaking dragon. So I want to see him just doing that. I love the martial arts scenes and all that stuff.
Yes.
That was great. So yeah.
Bus fight scene, scaffolding scene, I thought were top notch. They were a lot of fun. The one-on-one with the assassin who had the mask the whole time, whom we never got to actually meet.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty badass. There's some great scenes in this movie. It was very entertaining. I'm as you said, knew nothing about the guy. Fully invested going forward. I want to see what's up next because with the stingers, it's opening more doors, and then even with the stinger, it opened up a question like where was she going? Like what call was she answering? We're just finding this brand new power that none of you three have ever heard of, yet she's got to go. So why does she have?
It gave you a lot of like, where are we going with this character, this character, this character?
Sure.
Even the second stinger is like, so I saw it as a way of, hey, we're going to continue Shang-Chi and we're going to include him in other Marvel stuff, and also we may just continue this series. Like I said, the Ten Rings will return. So does that mean we're getting a sequel? Does that mean we're getting something else? So there's a lot of promise, a lot of like where are we going with this character? It's worth it. I really like it. I haven't like looked at specifically the list, but like I said, mid tier for me, a little higher for you. It's a thumbs up. Go see it in the theaters specifically. I think it looked really good. It was worth seeing in the theater.
I saw IMAX and absolutely loved it. It was worth it to do the IMAX. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Cool.
Speaking of things that are worth it, you and I both got to watch the movie Worth. Starring.
Is that why you did that? Is that why you put this next so you could say it was
give away the insiders? All right, don't. All right. Just let people think I'm smart and haven't been doing this for 5 years. I didn't write down on my notes. Make segue into Worth. Stanley Tucci, Michael Keaton. This is based on the true story of after 9/11. The what's it called? 9/11 not commission fund. I'm forgetting the exact wordage, but
I forget the name of it as well.
The payouts that the government decided to give to the families of the victims who died in 9/11. Very, very heavy stuff. Very intriguing. No action. There's no Asian martial arts in this whatsoever. Although a couple of scenes, I think a few people wanted to karate chop somebody. But
maybe, yeah. Yeah, this one was the most emotional watch for me of the week. Like I definitely teared up watching this. We're right around the corner from the 20th anniversary of 9/11, and I don't care how many times I see that footage or hear people talking about their stories, whether it's real or not in this movie. Maybe it's dramatized, whatever. But
sure.
It still chokes you up. It still makes you feel that emotion, and I hope that other people get that as well. It makes me wonder, like now that we have people who are like 20 years old who didn't live through this, is that going to affect them the same way? Is it going to hit the same way? Maybe not, because we actually lived through it. But I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a nice, tight little drama in the way it was told. Great performances, especially Michael Keaton was great in it. Yeah. Stanley Tucci, not given as much to do, not as many scenes, but he's good in what he gets,
Yes.
Same with Amy Ryan, Tate Donovan. They kind of show up but don't have like huge roles. I will shout out Shinori Ramanathan. I thought she was great as like their other assistant.
She was the new assistant who was supposed to be in the tower? Got it. Okay.
She was great. I thought her performance was great, and I looked her up on IMDb and stuff, and I was like, she's barely in anything. She had some small roles. Big Sick might have been like her biggest thing. I think she was like one of the girls that Kamal goes on a date with kind of thing.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
So it's like she really hasn't been in much, and I was very impressed by her. I thought she had some great scenes and kind of held her own against Keaton and Tucci in these scenes that she was given. As well as Laura Benanti, who's in your Supergirl. She had some nice, big, emotional scenes that paid off for her. So I just wanted to shout them out as good side performances in the movie. It's an interesting story, man. I thought they did a good job of balancing that, telling a true life event and making it dramatic, but telling this story in a way where it's a narrative and you enjoy it, you want to watch it. And I thought it was really well done. I'm surprised that this was just a Netflix movie, to be honest.
I am too, and I actually double checked that. I was like, "Wait, was this supposed to be?" And they just kicked it over, and no, it wasn't. They also did a very good job. We didn't really get into the formula that Michael Keaton's character created.
Yeah.
They didn't really
Mhm.
get into the math
They kind
because
of
I was,
showed him like doing the math himself a couple times, but yeah, it didn't really make sense to
which
you
I thought was
necessarily.
smart because there was enough slow burn as was in this, and if we start breaking down like the
You didn't want
mathematics,
the
I think
mumbo jumbo. Yeah.
yeah, I thought
Yeah.
they were smart to not do that. I agree with you. Performances across the board were great. There was and dramatizations are not like you just said. I was definitely tearing up when some of the people were retelling their stories, going back through, and then you get angry at some of the ones where they break down the guy who died in D.C. or whatever, and Virginia state law doesn't
Yeah.
recognize his
Yeah.
partner, and so he's not getting any benefits. And then New
Sure.
York state law changed, so he was like, "Well, look, these people's benefits are going to change." But nope, sorry, you live in Virginia, and we have to go by what your state law said, and we don't recognize you. And then that guy's parents were jerks, like stuff like that. I was like, "Wow, this is." And then the one guy had a wife and kids, and she's filling out the paperwork for 3 kids to get the benefits, and it's like, no, no, he actually had 5 kids, but the wife
Yeah.
didn't know about, stuff like that, where you're just like, "What the?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow."
And yeah, you start off the movie and it's like, man, this is a cold assignment that Keaton is given to assign worth to people,
Hmm.
and you see he has an arc in the movie where he is very matter of fact and wanting to do it in the mathematical way and whatever. But that's the point of Stanley Tucci to be there, is to kind of change him and give him that arc. And it definitely humanizes everyone. It gives them their stories, the immigrants who you see them and they're like, you guys are going to get 200K. And they're like, between all of us, they're just grateful to get anything.
Yeah,
Whereas then these bigwigs are like, no, we need like 15 million for this guy
right.
because he was a CEO or whatever. And it's like, it just really humanizes, like you said, the domestic partners, talking about some first responders and the things that they dealt with, giving that angle of it. So they did a good job of kind of focusing on everyone's
Yeah.
different take on what happened, and really making you think about worth. What is a waitress that worked at the restaurant that died worth the same as the CEO and all that stuff? And what a hard task for this person to get. And based on a real person who went on to keep doing these things, did it for Sandy Hook, Aurora, Dayton, BP, Boston Marathon, Virginia
Mm-hmm.
Tech. That's rough that this guy continued to do this job.
Sure.
So kudos to him. Yeah, it's a really good movie. Really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised because this was actually a script that had been on the blacklist since 2008, where it's like they have a list of scripts that go around Hollywood and they get unmade, and
Hmm.
people are like, this is like kind of the top of the top. And it went for over 10 years without being made, and people have just been like maybe afraid to tackle it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And this actually dropped at Sundance last year, so it's been a while
Huh.
to get distribution and get seen somewhere. So I don't know why, because I thought it was really good and could have been like an Oscar player, but I feel like at this point, maybe putting on a Netflix like this and it's only August, September, you're kind of
Yeah.
bearing its chances of being remembered or seen by most people, I feel like.
Just
So,
under 2 hours long. I enjoyed it. I thought it's, oh my God. I didn't even intend this one. I was going to say worth your time, but I won't. I really did. And the one thing afterwards, I was like, dang, man. That's, at the time he filmed it, he was like 68 because he just turned 70 yesterday, I
yeah,
think.
that's
So he's
insane.
67, 68 years old. And I'm like, and he's coming back as Batman next year? Like,
I know.
Keaton's badass. I didn't realize
It,
he was 70. I didn't,
I know,
honestly.
me either. It made me think about that yesterday when it was his 70th birthday. I was like, ooh, like, do we need to schedule the spotlight? Like, we need to worry about this guy? He's going to be
we
Batman? Like, how is
we
he going to be
fast
Batman
tracked
at
it.
70? I can barely get out of bed and I'm 40, so.
He's got people like putting the suit on. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway,
What do I have to
check out
say? Just I'm Batman? Okay.
check out Worth, guys. It's on Netflix right now. Now we have a new segment called Tony Checks Out a Bad Movie that came out a month ago. We did it with Snake Eyes last week. Are we doing it with Green Knight this week?
No, because
Whoa!
actually, I
Okay.
I really enjoyed Green Knight, which I bet you
Ooh,
didn't expect me to say.
not at all. I mean, you're in the minority here from
And
reviews
and
I've
I'm
read, but good,
and
good.
I'm loving it because I'm scooping Roy as well. I don't know that Roy has seen this yet, so
Suck it,
take
Roy,
take that
from our
realm.
realm.
I'm getting the review of the Green Knight in first. Yeah, this is available on demand now. Like you said, maybe a month after it was out, it's an on-demand release. I really enjoyed this movie. It was sneaky good to me.
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
actually saddened that I didn't see this in the theater because the spectacle of it, the scope of it, it would have been great on a big screen. It just looked beautiful. Every screen of it, it was shot so beautifully. And Dev Patel, man, he kills this. He's a great performance here. He's sexy in this movie, which I like.
Hello.
I don't know. He just looks good in it. He looks good as this like gruff with the long hair and the beard and all this, and he sells the role. It's a strange movie. I feel like that's why I like it, because it's not your typical period PC, Robin Hoody, whatever kind of King Arthur movies that we got in the past. This one has some real weird things to it, and definitely almost veers horror in a couple ways, a couple
Hmm.
scenes where there's like some horror elements to it. So that spoke to me. This may be my favorite version of these kind of storytelling, this kind of tale that I've seen. So I'm highly gonna recommend people check this out, especially if you can still see it in a theater. Go see it.
Nice.
Um, Alicia Vikander is in here playing a dual role, which was good because her first part of the role that she played I wasn't very impressed with, but then when she comes back around as a different character, I really enjoyed that. Um, you get Joel Edgerton in here. You get Sean Harris in here. I love him from Mission Impossible. He's great. Ralph Ineson plays the Green Knight, and that base, helmet thing that he wears, whatever, that's practical, man. Like they did a great job of creating that and having him wear that and actually be the character in the movie. I thought it was great. Sarita Chajari is in here. Aaron Kellyman, who we just saw in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Barry Keoghan, who we're going to see in both Eternals and the Batman coming up. So he's kind of on an upswing for his career. So a lot of good people in this movie. Directed by David Lowery. This is the thing I don't get is people acted when this movie was coming out like David Lowery was some name that everyone should know. I don't feel like he's there yet for me as a
Hmm.
director.
Yeah.
He did Pete's Dragon and he did Ghost Story and Old Man and the Gun. Very different movies in some way. So I don't know that he's like a new film by David Lowery. I don't know if he deserves that yet.
Yeah. From the
Um, but
beautiful
after,
mind of David Lowery.
yeah, but after seeing this, I will say I may now start to pay attention a little bit more to him and what
Okay.
he's going to come out with. Great score in here. Daniel Hart has scored all of his other movies, very like violin based, but it did a good job of setting that time period and really worked for me. The budget was only 15 million, which is crazy to me because it looked fantastic.
Oh,
So
wow.
what is Marvel doing with their money? I don't know because this movie looked great, and it made over 18 in the box office. So hey, there you go. The only thing I could think of that they spent money on was a CGI fox in here, maybe.
Okay.
Um, but the thing that hurt this movie the most, I think, in people's reviews or people not knowing about it or whatever, is the UK release got bumped. Remember, so now it is getting a UK release at the end of this month, as well as Amazon Prime. They're going to drop it on Prime at the same time as the UK release. So I think that's only for England, not here or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say besides I think the story hit me more, just like the journey of
Hmm.
like this
Hmm.
hero's journey kind of worked for me, and learning and building your courage, and you're kind of facing death, and death is inevitable, that kind of thing. It really worked for me. Like I said, visual effects, cinematography, production design, and costumes. Again, I shouted out Shang-Chi the same way. They did a great job here. Um, I will give one minor spoiler for a thing that really shocked me kind of in the movie, and I
Okay.
didn't see coming, and I'll never forget it. There's a magical cum towel in this movie, and you actually see a cum shot in this movie, which I did not expect to see.
What?
So yeah, go in expecting to see that and being kind of surprised like I was.
Is that our show title? Magical Cum Towel?
It'd be the biggest downloaded episode yet, right?
Christ.
I also will say, David Lowery, I read this was supposed to be released last year, and then because of COVID, it got delayed. He spent 6 months going back and forth and like re-editing this and rejiggering it around.
Hmm.
So I wonder if that's for the better or worse. I almost wish I'd seen the other version to like, check it out. There's a little bit of like a post-credit scene, which was kind of fun too.
Okay.
Um, the only problem I have with this movie, and this just goes back to the story. Spoiler alert for a 1,000-year-old anonymously written poem. But why, if somebody challenges you, hey, let's fight right now, and then in a
Hmm.
year I'll be back and I get to do the same thing you did to me, right? That's basically what it is. That's what the Green Knight says.
So we fight.
Yeah. So whatever you do
I
to me,
I
I'm
punch
going
you
to
in
be
the
back in a
nose.
year. Yeah, I'll be back in a year and I'm going to get you.
You get to punch me in the nose.
So would you behead that person that challenged you? Like now you're going to be beheaded in a year. I don't like whatever. I
Okay.
know that's supposed to be like lyrical poem and like I
Hmm.
said, standing up for like, oh, death is inevitable and you need to go on your journey and be courageous and learn to be a man and all these things. I understand all that, but that's just weird to me. Like I had a hard time accepting that. Like if that was my
Sure.
challenge, I'd be like, nick on the arm. All right, see you in a year. So yeah,
Here's a noogie.
Very good movie. I highly recommend this, and I do think maybe this will have the staying power to be around for Oscar season, at least for maybe your technical stuff. Because I thought it was really well made and looked great, great performances. Check out Green Knight if you have any interest at all.
Not too long ago, we talked about the trailer. No, excuse me. I remember talking about the casting for this, and then we saw a quick trailer. This is on Hulu series starring Steve Martin, Martin Short, Selena Gomez, and more. And this is a 10-episode arc of Only Murders in the Building. I'll lead off by saying, buddy, I'm actually kind of having a lot of fun with this show so far.
Okay, well, good, because this was going to be my lowest rated
Okay.
today. Because I like it, but I don't love it. It's similar to Nine Perfect Strangers. Like, I'm not 100% in that love it camp, or like I could probably do without this if I never watched it again or whatever. You know what I mean?
Sure.
My biggest problem is with the cast and maybe the chemistry of the leads and stuff. I don't know if it's there yet. I don't know if Selena Gomez fits in with Steve Martin and Martin Short. I almost feel like she's miscast. I like Selena Gomez, but I don't know if she belongs in this cast. Martin Short, I find kind of annoying, to be honest.
Sure.
I've always felt that way with him. I like him. He's funny, but I can only take him in like small doses or in like 80s movies. Like he was good back then, but now I'm just like, maybe you're a little over the top or too much. I do love Steve Martin though. That reminded me of how much I kind of miss him. I feel like we haven't seen him or Martin Short really do anything in years. Like, when was the last time that either of them did anything? I don't even know.
Couldn't tell you. It is interesting having Steve Martin as a straight, where Martin Short is the over the top. Yeah.
I like it though. I like it. You know, and it's kind of a fun concept. Like, these true crime aficionados witness this murder in their apartment building, and now they want to solve it. But then they're also like doing a podcast on the side. Okay, fine.
That's the part I'm enjoying about it, I guess. Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. It's kind of funny. It's got a little bit of a mystery that they kind of tagged in there for you already. Like, is somebody maybe involved in it? Whatever. So that is kind of fun. I will play it out to see where it goes. I just don't love it. I don't know. There's something about it I just don't love. It was fun to see Sting in here. That was cool. And he seems like he's going to be recurring, as well as Nathan Lane and then Amy Ryan. They're all in here as well. Amy Ryan, she's credited as like a major part of the cast, I think, as well. So I'm betting she'll come back in a bigger way later in the episodes.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm liking it. The side stories with Martin Short's character, I'm not sure where we're going, and then how he's trying to figure out who the killer is by doing like a Broadway on stage audition scenes. I was like, wait, what? Is this in his head? Like, where are we getting this? This is very off the path for what the actual story is going, but maybe they need to fill some of their 30-minute runtime per eps. Sure. So yeah, Martin Short, I agree with you. I just feel like once we all learned that those over-the-top characters that he always plays, that's just him in real life. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. He's just kind of an annoying guy in real life. But either way, I'm just kind of like enjoying along for the ride type. All right, it's kind of, I'm intrigued on who the murderer is. That's for sure.
Sure. Yeah, I do want to pay off of the mystery. It's the same thing like we said last week in Nine Perfect Strangers. Like, I'm going to watch it. It's got a decent cast. It's got an interesting hook. I just don't love it. I don't like, oh man, I can't wait for the next episode or anything. You know, it's like, I'll get to it when I get to it.
Drops on Tuesdays. Final episode is October 19th, so we'll have a review for the full season, episode 263. All right, Labor Day weekend, you know what that means. Vacations are over. But you always have the memories of the friends that you make on vacation. So this is our review of Vacation Friends. That was a very long segue. That took me a
It was. That was written out, I'm sure.
No, I swear to God.
Okay. Yeah, Vacation Friends actually dropped last week on Hulu, I think, and I just didn't get around to it before our episode last week. And this was a nice palate cleanser for me, I feel like. You know, Worth was kind of heavy. Green Knight had some big, heavy stuff going on. So that was when I watched this. It was kind of like in post watching those movies, and I was like, this is just kind of fun, dumb, shut off your mind, and enjoy yourself. And this is actually the biggest Hulu original opening, beating Palm Springs. And they have already greenlit a sequel to this called Honeymoon Friends. So we will be getting more of Lil Rel and John Cena. Lil Rel Howery, this is actually his 7th film of 2021.
Damn.
Wow, that's crazy, including like voiceover animated work.
Oh, okay.
But 7 films this year. John Cena, his 3rd film this year. So both of them are crushing it in 2021. This is another one that's been in long gestation. This was originally supposed to be made in 2014 with Chris Pratt and Anna Faris as one of the couples playing in the movie together.
Oh.
And then they changed that over, and then it was going to be Ice Cube was attached to star instead of Lil Rel Howery. So it's going through a few different mutations as this movie's going on. And then they started filming this in March of 2020. And they only filmed about a week or two, and then they were like, we got to stop. And they had to take a break for like 6 months and then come back and finish it. So
Dang.
given all that information and that backstory, I'm impressed at how well this turned out, to be honest.
Sure.
And John Cena, he continues to impress me. I really think he is getting better. I think he's a better actor than The Rock. As far as comparing,
that's the show title right there, baby.
I'm gonna say it. I don't care who wants to fight me on that one. You know, The Rock is enjoyable. He's a good action hero, whatever. But he's the same in every movie. I feel like Cena has done a good job of kind of embracing these different roles. He was a bad guy in F9 and was literally bad. Like in this movie, he's just fun, but it's a different kind of fun where he's like introspective and like loose, and he's not just a silly comic over the top role. And I think he's really doing it different in every movie he's in. So I admire him. I think he's getting better. He's impressed me here, as well as Scene Stealer Alert, Meredith Hagner. I don't really know what Meredith Hagner had been in before this, but now I remember her, and I'm going to look forward to her because she was great. I didn't realize she's married to Wyatt Russell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's an interesting little couple there. And apparently she was in Palm Springs. I'm like, I don't remember. Was she part of like the wedding cast, maybe something like that?
Maybe he.
But here,
one of the things.
Yeah, okay. but here she's given a lot to do. She's given a lot of, I wonder how much improv there might have been going on or things like that, because a lot of it was really well done, and her and Cena had good chemistry.
Yeah.
Yvonne Orji kind of rolls out our main forecast. She's an Insecure. She wasn't given as much to do on the comedic side or whatever, but good performance. I think she fit in well with the group and with Lil Rel. I really enjoyed this, man. I really enjoyed it. I've told a few people about it now. If you go in expecting something light and silly and just funny, this is what you want to see. And it's just on Hulu, easy, accessible for everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say, really enjoyed it as strong. I enjoyed it. I have not much to add, sadly, to it, because I pretty much just agree all around. I was thinking, one, Cena's freaking huge. Like, just the scenes on the beach and, when they're in the hotel room and stuff, it's like the guy's just freaking, like, huge and ripped and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, so if the wife and I are with this couple, and there's drinks and drugs and everything, and then I pass out in a haze, but then I kind of wake up to see everybody's hooking up around me. There's nothing I can do to be like, hey, John Cena, you stop that with my wife right now, buddy. Like, the guy's just massive. Like, all right.
I also love that actually kind of plays into, like, I don't want to ruin that. That was one of the funnier things of the movie for me, was that scene and how it played out later in the movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Who may or may not have slept with who. I thought that was kind of funny. The Waffle House bit. There was a bunch of things that kind of were really funny to me. I laughed out loud quite a few times at this movie. So it's enjoyable. Like I said, I wouldn't go run to the theater to see it or anything, but you got Hulu. Why not? This is quick, easy watch.
Hour and 35 minutes. It's worth your time. And that is about it. Okay, we got a couple of things that I didn't get to check out, but you did, so we're going to wrap up our reviews. 2 more to go. Riders of Justice.
Riders of Justice. This is a movie that I remember it coming out a couple months ago, and I put it on my watch list, and I just never got around to it. It actually came out in May here in the U.S., and this is a Danish film, starring Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Anders Thomas Jensen. He also wrote it. They've worked together before in a couple other movies overseas, whatever, so we may not know him here in the U.S. For me, this is probably my favorite foreign film I've seen of the year. This is really good. It's like a revenge dark comedy. It's got a lot of action to it. It's very violent, but it has a little bit of emotionality, a little bit of heart tied in there. Basically, this guy, Mads Mikkelsen, he's a military guy, and his wife gets killed inexplicably on a train, where a bombing happens on a train. It's a terrorist incident, and it comes down to the fact of was she there because of the target of somebody else? Like, they were trying to kill somebody else, and she just happened to be there. So now he wants to get revenge on the people that were the bombers. So it sounds like it should be a heavy drama, but there's actually quite a bit of like dark comedy in here, which makes it really enjoyable. I will say, comparing it to Another Round, which was my favorite Mads Mikkelsen foreign film of last year, I like that one better still. I think Another Round was a better film, but this one was a nice surprise. I finally watched it because I've heard numerous people talking about this movie, and numerous people reviewed it or recommended it, and so I was all on board with it. It was a really enjoyable watch. Mads Mikkelsen is just amazing to me. He can do no wrong, so I will watch him be in anything. And like I said, just that little depth to the characters, a little bit of emotionality, and little side stories. It made it worthwhile. It made it good. It made it have that revenge tilt, but with that dark comedy, just made it enjoyable all around. So I like it. Well fleshed out side characters, and it just had like a quirkiness to it. Each character had their own thing, and I highly recommend it. So seek out Riders of Justice if you can. It's a really good movie.
Very nice, very nice. Next up on the episodes of Untold series, I'm actually bummed at myself for not making time to make sure that I followed up on our series here, because I'm half enjoying these. But either way, you got the Crime and Punishment episode here.
It's all good, and like you said, half enjoying them. We kind of were down on the Malice at Palace was okay. The Caitlyn Jenner one was not very good. We loved the Christy Martin one. I will put this one as the second best of the series. I really enjoyed this one.
Okay.
I don't really remember the story that much, so maybe that helps me. Like, I remember the name, maybe Jimmy Galante and it being in the news or whatever, but I didn't know all this stuff about the hockey team and all this and all the connections to it. So this is basically like a real life Sopranos, where Jimmy Galante is a mafia mob boss who was running money to create this, side minor league hockey team in Danbury, Connecticut. And then he gets taken down by the FBI eventually, and it kind of ruins the whole thing. But the show focuses more on the creation of the team and the players. He has his son, who's 17 years old, running the team. Like, it's insane. And I don't remember anything about this story, really, to be honest. So, and since you got a 17-year-old running the team, what's his inspiration for making a hockey team? Well, hey, I've watched Mighty Ducks. I've watched the WWE. I've watched Slapshot. So those are the things that he wants to do. He wants to get this hockey team to be enforcers, badasses, but he also wants it to be entertainment. So there's going to be a lot of fighting in my hockey and whatever, things like that. And then also using the connections of his dad, who seemingly has tons of money because he's the real-life Tony Soprano, we get John Cena to come to a game in Danbury, Connecticut, to a minor league hockey team. He has his 17th birthday party, AJ Galante, and guess who's there? The Rock, Triple H are at his birthday party. Like, what is going on in this small town in Connecticut? It was insane to me. Really fun and just interesting story. Like I said, if you go in not knowing it, you're really going to enjoy it. And just the players that he gets on the team and the way that this happened at the same time as the NHL canceled their season. So that also helped this become even more popular. And I didn't know this. They got, is it Mike Rupp from the Devils? New Jersey Devils? He went and signed on to play with them because the NHL canceled the season. He had just won a freaking Stanley Cup the season before with the Devils, and he goes and plays minor league hockey in Connecticut with them. So there's a lot of cool things you learn in here. They actually got the mascot of the team, who's like a trash can. They were the Danbury Trashers or whatever. So he was like a trash can. He was actually like working with the FBI and giving them information.
No shoot.
So I thought that was hilarious. Like, there was a lot of cool stuff that I just learned in here, and just like I said, it's Slapshot meets Sopranos. So if you like either of those things, you're going to enjoy this episode. Quick and really informative and interesting story. So I liked it. Like I said, second to Christy Martin episode. Check out these Untolds, man. They're really paying off.
Hopefully you guys are enjoying this episode of Take Two Podcast, episode 256. We are rolling along, but we're going to take a quick breather and be right back. That makes me wonder if in like 20 years we're going to get a Bishop Sycamore Untold series or 30.
Sooner than that, buddy. Sooner than that. It's in the news already.
Are you watching any of this? This fake team that's getting beat by high school teams at the same?
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I'm paying attention is because it's Ohio-based as well, so that kind of jumped to my mind right away. But yeah, like I said, Kevin Hart is already producing a documentary series on this. So
I missed that totally. Wow.
Yep, okay. Yep. So it's already happening. I don't know if it's not going to be Untold or whatever, but yeah, we've already got a documentary series. What an interesting story though, and so dumb. Like, how do you even trick a major television network, ESPN, to put you on TV if you're basically fake?
Yeah.
And if you're a coach who has a warrant, why would you want to be on TV? Like,
right.
All those things. All these questions are just mind-boggling to me. One of the best things that came out of this, though, was like I saw a thing that was like Cam Newton has signed with Bishop Sycamore. I was like, that's great.
All right, let's jump on to our casting couch.
Casting couch for the week. David Oyelowo. I like him. He's a good actor, right? Sounds like he's going to be involved in the Rocketeer sequel for Disney Plus.
Hello.
What's going on with Billy Campbell? Where is he at? Why are we not getting Billy Campbell back? Hashtag justice for Billy Campbell. I like David Oyelowo, but why can't we get the original Rocketeer back? What's going on?
So is this the Tuskegee Airmen avenue that they're doing?
I have no clue. I don't know. I just think it's weird that you would do a Rocketeer sequel and not have the original people. Unless it's going to be a jump in time. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
Like years later and maybe he inherits the suit or finds the suit kind of thing. Maybe one of those.
Because I thought we had talked about they were doing a Rocketeer series with the daughter. And Billy Campbell is going to come back, but it's his daughter that takes over.
I do remember us talking about Billy Campbell being rumored to come back for one. But now this is like, this is still with Disney, but I think it's a different avenue they're taking now and having David Oyelowo in here. So.
Nothing against him. Love him, like you just said. Yeah. But yeah, I'm with you on. Okay.
That and I want to see Jennifer Connelly bring back the eyebrows. Like if she does this again, does she have to get those thick ass eyebrows? I would love it. Did you see the viral video this week of Jabari Banks learning that he was going to be the new Fresh Prince? That was kind of cool. Will Smith.
Not a bad way to find out you've been cast.
Especially, his story. He's also from Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds where he spent most of his days. So. So very cool. He will be the lead in Bel Air, as it's called, on Peacock, which is going to be, if you don't remember, we reported it before. It's going to be more like an hour-long drama as opposed to the comedic version that we got before.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Nothing. This kid's not really done anything either.
No. Well, hopefully that's good. Sometimes that's good. That works out.
Neither did Will Smith when he started Fresh Prince. So
there you go. We're getting a new Salem's Lot. I haven't really talked about this yet. We already had announced Lewis Pullman was going to be kind of the lead of the show. I don't really know what he's been in much, so that's why we didn't talk about it. But now they've fleshed out the cast. We're going to get Bill Camp. We're going to get Alfred Woodard, Mackenzie Lee, who was just in The Assistant last year, Spencer Trent Clark, who's the Unbreakable kid. That's what I always call him. Remember him? He's all grown up now.
From Unbreakable?
Yeah. Like he was back in Class.
He was in Class, right? Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So he's in here. Yeah, I just call him Unbreakable Kid because I'm like, I don't really remember him in anything else.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's interesting. Salem's Lot is one of those good Stephen King stories, and I'd like to see an updated version of it because the old version was, it's okay. It's a little, could definitely be updated. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Maria Bakalova has got her next starring role. She's going to be in a rom-com called The Honeymoon coming up. So that's good for her, Obviously, I think we kind of postulated after Borat, like, would she continue on and have a career? So good to see her getting that.
Yeah, do it.
Aidan Gillen has been added to the cast of The Mayor of Kingstown. This is the Jeremy Renner Yellowstone spinoff with Taylor Sheridan. Makes sense. He just worked with Taylor Sheridan on that Those Who Wish Me Dead.
Oh,
remember?
Okay.
Aidan Gillen was in that. So.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yep, so that cast is expanding. They're already filming that right now. Guillermo del Toro. I don't know if we're allowed to say his name on the show.
His name.
For some reason, he hates us. But if you say these three words, it's almost like catnip to me. Netflix anthology series. Ooh, I love a Netflix anthology series. Like, it's just amazing to me. So now you're adding Guillermo del Toro as the creator of this. It's called
six words.
Yeah. Cabinet of Curiosities is what it's called. And we've got a big cast coming here. F. Murray Abram, Crispin Glover, S.E. Davis, Andrew Lincoln, Tim Blake Nelson, Peter Weller, among others, as well as a lot of up-and-coming horror directors have signed on. We're going to have, like, different writers and directors for some of the episodes. Guillermo's also involved, but I can't wait for this. This just sounds like it was made for me. I can't wait. So I love it.
Can Crispin Glover do, like, that laugh when he's watching in Back to the Future? That, That could be,
I hope that he does.
Laugh.
He does this dance in Friday the 13th that I love. If you've never seen him do a dance in Friday the 13th, look it up, YouTube it, the Crispin Glover dance, Friday the 13th. It's amazing. All right. Also, we got Christina Ricci. This actually was a couple weeks old, but I think we missed this. Christina Ricci and Juliette Lewis have been cast in a show for Showtime called Yellow Jackets. Oh. And it sounds like the plot of Alive, where it's a soccer team who has a plane crash, and then they have to become like cannibals to survive. And I'm like, we already had Alive, and that's based on a real story. Yeah. But now it's like gender swapping it, so it's a female soccer team, I guess.
Girls eating each other. Got it.
Yeah. Yep. So eat all the asses to survive. That's what I always say. That's it.
There's so many show titles this week. Okay.
That's all I had for casting, though. Do you have a couple more?
Another fun announcement. Kate Walsh did a TikTok video, and it's just one of those like where you get to ask questions and then the celebrity will like answer them, and they're doing it to a certain song or whatever. So one of the questions like, "Will we ever see you again on Grey's Anatomy?" And then the music changed to like boom, and then she had the doctor's outfit on, and she was like, "I'm back, bitches," whatever. So season 18, we're getting Kate Walsh's character back on Grey's Anatomy.
Did she get her like own spin-off show for a while,
Yeah,
right?
private practice. Private,
Is
I
that what it
think.
was?
I think
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
private practice. Yeah, she had. I think she made it like 2 years, but then it failed. Either way.
Sure.
Expendables 4, Sly, Statham, Lundgren, Randy Couture, they're all confirmed to come back at the very least. They have confirmed that they've added 50 Cent, Tony Jaa, and Megan Fox.
Yeah, Megan Fox is the weird one that stands out there. I don't know. I'm not a huge Fox fan. Sorry, Gerald. I know you loved her last movie, but I did not as much as you.
Yorgos Lanthimos, he has the Poor Things. We talked about Emma Stone is in that movie going forward, which is good. You know, they work well together.
Yeah.
Also, Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo are in this, and they've added Chris Abbott to the cast.
You got me with the Defoe. Anytime you say his name, I'm like, yes. And especially with Yorgos, that means we're going to get some weird stuff.
Did you see the deepfake? Someone put Willem Dafoe's face on Julia Roberts for Pretty Woman.
Ooh. Ew.
And dude, it's like creepy, but you can't stop watching. Like it's a train wreck. Like, oh, he's rather lovely looking.
Oh no.
All right. Anyway, movie called Woman King. Lashana Lynch has been added. Remember, she was in Captain Marvel. Her and Viola are in the film Woman King. Going forward,
she's gonna be breaking big. With Bond, she's gonna be big. So
100%. And then Tony Revolori has been added to the Wes Anderson film that we can't wait to happen.
Yeah.
Who cares about the one that comes out next month? We just want the one in 2 years.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Guillermo. It's like you got a movie coming out this year, but I'm more excited for Cabinet of Curiosities now. Whatever. So Tony Revolori, he was in Hotel, whatever, right? The Hotel movie with Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
Grand Budapest.
The
right?
Grand Budapest. Yeah. This would be his third round. I didn't write down the other one, but this is Wes Anderson.
Might have been Steve Zissou, I think.
There you go. Okay, that wraps up our casting couch. On to a little podcast recommendation.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant to recommend this one because it's only had 2 episodes so far. I'm into it. I want to see where it's going, but it's one of those scripted, dramatic podcasts. And those sometimes are good, sometimes not. Sometimes I get into them, sometimes I don't. So far, I'm into it just because this is Stephen King. It's a Stephen King short story from the 60s, one of the few that has never been adapted in any other way. So this is called Strawberry Spring, and it takes place in 1968 on a college campus, and there's a murderer who is doing his murders in the style of Jack the Ripper. So you're hearing about it in 1968, and then we also have like a little flash forward. 8 years later, he's back. This guy's back. He was never found in 1968, and now he's come back around, and we're getting these murders again. And I guess this Strawberry Spring, as it's called in the Northeast, is something that happens every 8 years or whatever. So he's almost like going with the flow of this like weather incident as well.
Okay.
So, kind of an interesting concept. The voice cast includes Sydney Sweeney, who we've come to love on here.
Yeah, she's blowing up.
Yeah, Milo Ventimiglia, Breck Bassinger, who's on the Stargirl. So Garrett Hedlund. So yeah, it's got a decent little voice cast to it. Like I said, only 2 episodes so far, but it's interesting. It's intriguing. The storyline has got me. You get that like late 60s kind of culture revolution, but then also then the next part you're in the 70s, so it's like post Vietnam and like so there's a little bit of like social stuff going on as well in the background. So I like it so far. I'm gonna keep up with it. Strawberry Spring. Go check it out. Let me know if you like it.
It's like Strawberry Springs. All right, that's what did we just do there? We did the
podcast recommendation. Let's go over and check out our trailers.
We got 6 of them for you guys this week, but they're going to be pretty quick. Just to knock out real quick, we got one final James Bond, No Time to Die. It was more of like a Daniel Craig trailer where it was like, he started here, and then it showed little clips from Skyfall and from Casino Royale and whatever, and then brought us, and then gave us a little bit extra of things coming in. I did see off of it the runtime for this film, though.
Oh, okay. 240?
Oh, buddy, you're good at this. 243.
Are you serious? Fuck.
Nope.
That's too long, man. That's too long. What are y'all doing? What are you doing with this?
You're
that's too long.
Yeah, I feel the same way too. And I mean, I guess just the whole thought is this is his goodbye, and they have to be lengthy, and there's going to be.
That's the one thing that I will say with that trailer. It does really like if anybody had any suspicions of like, no, they're going to try and get him back. No, they're saying this is it. They're not even. There's no dump truck they can back up this time. He's done. So, and
Yeah.
I wonder, I'm going to make this speculation because this movie was supposed to come out, last May, right?
Mm-hmm,
Something
mm-hmm,
like that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think
Well,
they already have a deal. Or no, April. Was it April of
I
last
thought
year?
I thought we did November, then May, now November.
Oh, okay, maybe. Still, but
Yeah.
over a year, basically,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
before it comes out. I think they already have the deal in place with the next Bond, and we just don't know yet. And I think they're waiting to come out with this movie before they tell us.
I believe it.
I
I
almost
believe it.
100% believe somebody's already under contract, and this is just being kept secret until this movie releases.
The post-credit scene is Idris Elba showing up to
But
get his double oh
but
007
that's what I
badge.
was
And
going to
people are
say.
like, ah!
How cool would that be, though? Because they've never done that in Bond. So
Mm-mm.
this actually gives them a new opportunity where they could do that. That would be really cool.
Sure. Sure.
So it would justify me sitting there for 2 hours and 40 minutes if you did that.
That's
So
right.
listen up, broccolis. Go get filming. Go film a stinger for me. Regis Jean Page or whatever. Get him in there.
The other one before you get started, because I know you didn't watch Yellowstone. I love that show. Just binged all of it. Season 4 is coming
Okay.
up. It comes out on November 7th. And, I mean, the trailer can't give you too much because of how season 3 ended with this big, huge cliffhanger. A lot of characters might have died, or it's kind of how that final scene happens. But it does allude to more very Sopranos Godfather-esque of one of the family members takes over and they're going against the family. They're taking sides against it, stuff like that. So it looks good.
Okay.
It looks great.
Okay. Yeah, I have not watched it. I've heard good things. It seems like an old person show to me, but I don't know. I guess if you're saying it's good.
I mean, I'm
Maybe.
in my 40s now, so.
Yeah, but it just seems like CBS.
I'm not
crowd, you know what I
CBS
mean?
old.
Like that.
I'm not CBS old.
Yeah.
All right, The Rock said he's raising the bar on streaming. And the Red Notice trailer came out, and his thing was like, here's a Red Notice trailer. We are raising the bar for streaming. And people were like, what's that mean, Rock? What do you mean by that?
It means we got Wonder Woman, Black Adam, and Green Lantern, Deadpool in the same movie?
Deadpool. Free Guy in the
same movie. This looks like your typical Netflix big action movie that we've gotten before, but now we've got like 3 big names in the same movie, which they haven't really done. It was like, oh, here's the Chris Hemsworth movie, here's the Charlize movie. Now we've got a bunch of them together. So this is going to be big. People are going to watch it, no questions asked.
Yeah.
I don't know if the trailer made me like, yes, I can't wait. It was fine from what I saw, whatever.
My level of want remain the same. I just kind of know what the story is about.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're kind of not all on a team together, right? Like, maybe that's what I thought originally it was going to be. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. November 12th, we will see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm. A lot of November stuff. We've got also the first look at Wheel of Time on Amazon, which is coming out in November. Roy, we're scooping you again.
Screw you, Roy. Yeah.
Scooping
Got him again.
Yeah, I know he's been anticipating this one. I think he may have read the book series, and this is like poised to be your next Game of Thrones. If this takes off, people will love this, and it looks pretty good from the trailer, to be honest. I like Rosamund Pike quite a bit, so she's our lead. I don't know if I really recognized anybody else in the cast, so that can be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. Did you recognize anybody else jumping out at you?
Just her. Wow, to say that sentence, this could be the next Game of Thrones. Okay.
It really could be. It's a high concept sci-fi kind of thing.
Right.
And Amazon has a little bit of history with a couple of these shows already. I just don't know if they have the reach to make it as big as Game of Thrones was. But
Gotcha.
People like Roy who are really into this and read the books or whatever, I'm sure they're highly anticipating it. Excuse me. We also got to look at Moonfall, which we saw in the theater as well. Did you see that trailer in the theater?
I did, yeah.
And this is from director Roland Emmerich, who he always does this. 2012, Independence Day, I think was his. This is kind of his genre that he created for himself. Like, I'm going to blow up everything on Earth and whatever, So
Right.
the moon is going to come crashing into Earth, basically, is the concept here. We got Halle Berry. We got, who else is in here? Patrick Wilson, Donald Sutherland, Michael Pena. It looks fine. I'm not going to go see this in the theater by any means.
Well, we'll see what I got there. I have AMC stubs. I'm
not going to. But
it looks like something on the big screen might be better to see it on the big screen.
I didn't realize this isn't coming out till February 4th. It says.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
$140 million budget. Wow, that's insane to me that they'll give that kind of money to a movie like this. I don't know. Interesting.
We shall see.
And then the last one I threw your way was Belfast, which looks like Oscar-y play, black and white footage here, directed by Kenneth Branagh. You got Jamie Dornan in the lead. We kind of like him and his dramatic work and seen what
Sure.
he's done. So
Shut
what do you
up. I
think?
like him. I like him in his singing and dancing work. What are you talking about?
Seagulls in the sand, can you hear my breath? Yeah, it looks good. It looks good, like a coming of age drama. I think the black and white adds something to it, and it
Hmm.
definitely evokes Ireland and whatever.
Yes. Yeah. 1968, right? Is taking place in. We're going to go through some of the turmoil that's going on in the country back then, talk about that political nonsense.
Sure.
And yeah, it opens up in that black and white, a little dramatic, and you're kind of thinking, okay, we're going to be pushing for some awards, so we shall
Yep.
see. This one also is November 12th,
Yeah,
same
and
weekend
it,
as Red
it
Notice.
It is debuting this weekend. They're doing the Telluride Film Festival, and
Oh,
it
really?
just debuted this weekend. A friend of the show. I chat with him every once in a while. Clayton Davis. He works for the Hollywood Reporter. He's out there, and he's been posting stuff about these movies. And he said that Brenna is calling this like his most personal film.
Mm,
It features 8 songs from Van Morrison in the movie, and Van
mm.
Morrison actually wrote a new song for it. So that's kind of cool.
That's wild.
It got some decent reviews from what I saw out of Telluride. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Clayton Davis, incredibly jealous. You see the pictures he put up this weekend, all the celebs
Oh,
that he
just
met?
hanging out with everybody. Just hanging out with everybody,
Just
man.
like, oh, Kirsten Dunst said I have to take a selfie, or Kristen Stewart,
Yeah,
need to take a selfie.
Kristen
Okay.
Stewart. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what are you
And
doing?
everything I'm hearing from that too is that Spencer, she's going to be Oscar nominated. Like they're really talking up her performance.
We have,
I'm hoping Clayton Davis will be here for Middleburg, and maybe I can hang out with him. That'd be cool.
let's do it. I want to come. I'm going to mooch in on that third wheeler.
Come on out to Middleburg. It exists. I know Mike, and Oscar don't believe that Middleburg exists. That's a long running joke with me and them is that they don't think Middleburg is a real place.
Oh, okay.
So I went there a couple years ago and I was like, I'm here right now. Here is it. And I sent them to them. They're like, we still don't believe it.
All right, that's going to wrap up our trailer talk now for a What's in the Glass.
What is in the glass? You tell me this week what you can recommend.
You know what it is because you were so generous with your birthday giving. It was my 40th birthday recently, and I got a present from you. And I was like, well, I have to have a What's in the Glass. You YouTuber watchers, you're going to get a picture of the bottle. Last week, I talked about a rye whiskey or a bourbon, excuse me. I talked about a bourbon that you kind of have to be a bourbon drinker to enjoy, in my opinion. This one, not so much. I don't mean that in a negative way, but I think that this rye whiskey is more enjoyable for everybody, especially being a rye. I know a lot of folks don't enjoy rye whiskeys because it has that bite. It has that little extra at the end that can get you. And a lot of people, oh, I don't want a rye. I'm a big Sagamore fan, and that bite is hard at the end. This one, not so much. It's very subtle, which makes it very good. Catoctin Creek. I've wanted to try Catoctin Creek for years now. It's a Virginia distilled whiskey, and claims it is they're the first legal distillery. They opened in 2009 since pre-prohibition in Loudoun County.
Yep.
Which you're familiar with that area. They're good. They have a array of whiskeys that they have. The rye whiskey, which you so graciously got me, is the Roundstone, 92 proof, 46% ABV. Delicious. Absolutely enjoyed it. Virginia claims to be the birthplace of whiskey. Maryland is known for their ryes. At one point, Maryland supplied like almost 50% of the country's rye whiskey. But Virginia is the birthplace of whiskey. Why did they get away with that sentence? Because Kentucky hadn't been cut off yet as to be
like
a state.
everything west was still Virginia.
Yeah. So it wasn't until like 1790 when they dignified Kentucky as a state. But they're like, that's still Virginia, folks. We're the birthplace of whiskey. Have on it. Good on you, Virginia.
Yeah. Well, because we commented on that recently. I live in Loudoun County, and we were recently driving around doing some sightseeing, and the county says that it was created in like 1701 or something like that. And I'm like, how? Like, we weren't a country yet. How are you claiming you were a county? Like, I don't, whatever. So it is interesting in that way. Yeah. So Catoctin Creek's about a half hour west of me, just past Leesburg. I think it's in Purcellville. Sometime we want to go out there, I'll go out there with you. We can try some more stuff. I know you're more of a bourbon guy, but this was I wanted to give you a local Virginia flavor. I have another one that I want to get you into as well. So maybe we'll have to make some trips and do some tastings and whatnot.
Yeah, you nailed it. And to the whiskey, it's delicious. It's very good. It's been on my list of wanting to try. And thank you very much. It is good. Folks, Catoctin Creek, go try it. I'm holding it up like I need to be on QVC or something.
There you go. So do you guys not get distribution of that maybe in Maryland, or do you? I don't know.
I would have to check, to be honest with you, because I know Rye, Sagamore kind of owns the state.
Sure.
That I will go on that journey today. I will look around.
There you go. And if not, maybe we'll
about.
reach out and say, hey, I want some over in Maryland. Get it over in my stores, you know?
That's right. That's right. All right, done with our What's in the Glass, guys. We're going to take a quick break so I can drink the rest of this whiskey and be right back. Guys, all new listeners, thank you very much. At Take Two Podcast is our Twitter, 434-602-1931. That is the phone number. You can text that or leave a voicemail, and we respond to those ASAP. And then email take2podcast@gmail.com. Please follow all of our Facebook pages. We have the regular Facebook page, Take Two Podcast. You can find us there. And then there's the group page, Take Two Universe. And that's more like the fun stuff where we can chit-chat, put things on there. We had a listener post just this weekend talking about, your celebrity fives, but then who was like that side person who was like, she didn't make my list, but for a while, she or he, whomever was on there, my wife even commented on there. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were a big Devon Sawa fan back in the day, darling.
couple listener submissions. There was another one earlier in the week as well. I love that, and I love seeing our listeners interact with each other and people who we maybe don't hear from otherwise, but they'll pop in on there and get to be part of the discussion. So I love that. Yeah, please continue to do that. And like we said, we always say it, all of our social avenues, we try to make it a different experience on every single one, and what we're giving you and what we're interacting with you. So check them all out. Follow us everywhere.
Time for some Hollywood news.
Hollywood news for the week. Let me start off with a rest in peace. We lost one Willard Scott this week.
Did we? I didn't even see that.
Yeah, 87 years old, so he didn't even make it to the 100th birthday. That was one of his big things he did on Today's Show, was the Smucker's 100th birthday.
That's
thing,
right. That's right. Yeah.
Kind of one of those voices we grew up with, and maybe it doesn't play into a movie show necessarily, whatever. But he's a local guy. He was born in Alexandria. He started his career here in 1950. He actually died here. He still lived west of me in Delaplane. So a local guy through and through. Went on to national, notoriety. He did actually play Bozo the Clown in the 60s, at least locally. And he was actually the first person to ever play Ronald McDonald in 1963 in a commercial. So those are some kind of cool, like, little TV nuggets of him, the first one to do it. And then he also had a very small role on Hogan's Family back in the 80s.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, he had a character on there that he came back and did, like, a recurring thing for a couple of years on there. So technically a TV star, so we can talk about him here. But I always grew up enjoying the Willard Scott stuff, so I wanted to mention that here.
It's on my TV every Thanksgiving at the very least.
Yeah, there you go. All right, The Waitress. Did you see this? On Broadway, they reopened the ticket sales on Broadway. The Waitress has set a single-day record for the most tickets sold in a day. $197,000 worth, almost $200,000 worth of tickets for The Waitress on Broadway.
Good for them. Okay.
Good for them indeed. So that's huge. Welcome back, Broadway. I guess hopefully we'll be able to get back up there soon and see something. Steve McQueen, I talked about recently his Small Axe series that came out like the end of last year. Really liked his work there on Amazon Prime. He's produced 3 documentaries that he's going to drop. They seem to almost coincide with the Small Axe. There's going to be looking at major British events and how they kind of defined race relations in the country. So, as you know, those Small Axe films were more theatrical. This is going to be more factual, documentary based. So I'm probably going to check him out. I like Steve McQueen. I like all his work. And this is dropping in a couple weeks in September here. So all of a sudden he was just like, hey, here you go. I got 3 documentaries. Here's some trailers, and just threw them out there. So that's cool. I like Steve McQueen a lot. It sucks that he's getting kind of buried on Amazon Prime and people aren't paying attention. Small Axe was fantastic. So I wish more people saw it. We're getting our next film from Dave Franco. He is directing an elevated romantic comedy that he co-wrote with his wife, Alison Brie, and she's also going to star in it. This is at Amazon, and it's called Somebody That I Used to Know, also starring Jay Ellis and Kiersey Clemens. I like Kiersey Clemens. I'm not really familiar with Jay Ellis, but sounds good. All right, I'm in. I like that he's a normal Franco so far.
Sure.
Francis Ford Coppola. He apparently has been trying to do this dream project called Megalopolis for years. He wrote it in the 80s. It's supposed to be the sci-fi epic. They were actually in a pre-production phase of it before 9/11, and then it needed to be shut down right around 9/11, and they never revisited it. He has come out recently and said that he is willing to spend $100 million of his own money to get this made because he loves it and wants it made that badly. And he came out with some possible casting, and he's already been talking to people about being in this movie. So it's in like a pre-production phase right now. Possible casting, you ready?
Yes.
Oscar Isaac, Kate Blanchett, Forrest Whitaker, Jon Voight, Zendaya, Michelle Pfeiffer, Jessica Lange, and bringing back James Caan so they get to be together again.
Holy moly.
That's quite the cast for this big Francis Ford Coppola sci-fi epic megalopolis. I'll give you $10. I want to see it. Francis, where do I send it? Open up a GoFundMe. Do something.
I'm in. Sold. We can pull it out of the Patreon cash.
Did you hear the latest Star Wars rumor?
Tell me.
They are apparently ending the arc of The Mandalorian after Season 3, our next season that we're getting.
Oh, no.
But the show will continue under a new name.
Okay.
So, no, I don't know what that means up to this point, because they said it will stay in that same era and focus on maybe some of the same characters, but maybe the Mandalorian may not be part of it anymore. Or there's been speculation that, oh, well, he'll just take over as like the ruler of New Mandalore, and then he'll just be called Mandalore, not the Mandalorian.
Uh-huh.
So maybe it's just something as subtle as that, almost like Falcon Winter Soldier, boom, Captain America Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? Like maybe it'll just be a tricky thing like that. But it seems like the real meat of his story is going to be done at the end of Season 3. So,
all right,
we will see. We will see how that plays out. Did you see that they're trying to block the Amazon MGM merger?
No, who's trying to block it?
The Writers Guild of America and some of the other labor unions have come together, and they are asking the FTC to block it, saying that it's a monopoly. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. It is a big merger of some companies, but we've seen other things like this in the past that didn't get stopped, like HBO, Warner Brothers, that kind of stuff. Like, so
Disney,
I don't see why
ABC,
this is any
ESPN.
different. Yeah, why is this any different? I don't know. All right, Adam Sandler. He was doing an interview recently, and we talked about he has a new movie coming out called Hustle, where he plays like a basketball, like a scout, and he's trying to find new talent, whatever. He said Netflix asked him to change the setting of his film. It was originally supposed to be in China, where he goes to China and gets a player there. Netflix is not available in China. Who knew that? I didn't even know that.
Wow.
So they said, can you do it somewhere else? So they shifted the movie to Spain now. So they are filming it in Spain, and that's where it will take place. And I want to say, I don't remember the name, but some famous Spanish NBA player is going to star in the movie now as like the talent that they find. Okay. I can't think of his name, but whatever.
Gotcha. Ginobili, maybe?
No. It's like somebody current that's playing now, like a young guy.
Ricky Rubio, maybe?
No, it had some crazy name that I wouldn't recognize. I don't know. So, anyways, Ghostbusters, they moved their date again. Only 8 days, though. So I guess I can handle that. But when I saw that, I was like, no, I love Ghostbusters. I want to see it. So now it's November 19th. Moving, away from some other things, given a 2-week buffer to Eternals, that kind of thing maybe. And also, it happened because we had some other movement. Jackass has moved all the way to February. Top Gun has moved to May of next year. And then Mission Impossible 7, which I think was supposed to be May, is now going to be September of next year. So, who is that? Is that Sony, I think, right? Owns all those?
Yeah.
They basically were just like, we're done with 2021. Like, we're just going to move everything to 2022, which they did last year. They, I think it was Universal did that as well. Like, hey, we're going to just call it a day. We'll see you next year. And Sony's one of those companies that doesn't really have their own streaming thing set up or anything either. So it's like, this may be the best move for them is just to wait. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sit on some stuff.
Yeah, Cruz said he wants the world tour. He wants the live, all that. He needs that. Also, you ready for this?
Yeah.
July 12th, 2019, June 26th of 20, June 24th of 20, December 23rd of 20, July 2nd, 21, November 19th, 2021, May 27th, 2022. These were all official release dates for Top Gun.
It's been moved that much.
It's been moved that many times. Yeah.
Wow. I thought you were going to say those are all Tom Cruise movies we're getting, or they like we're getting all these days. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, so a lot of movements. We're hoping maybe the Shang-Chi news will maybe stop some of that, pump the brakes. Because I saw something that said Disney could technically still release Eternals on Premiere Access as well, but they kind of need to make the decision within like 3 weeks or whatever it is. So they were waiting to see how Shang-Chi performed before they said, well, maybe we'll let this one be at home as well. Which, I got to tell you, based on what I saw, I saw the trailer, the new trailer in the theater, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm like as into this Eternals as maybe I should be. I was more excited for Shang-Chi than I was for Eternals.
Yeah, I'm still not. And the trailer looks great. And it looks like there's some great action, some great, obviously there's cinematography thanks to, Chloe
But it
Zhao.
also looks indispensable. Like you have to see it to know where we're going, which is
Mm,
where they hook you. It's like if you want to watch the rest of these Marvel things, you got to see what we're doing here. So.
sure. Yeah.
Last couple things here. Apple has come out and said Dickinson will be ending with season 3, which they always apparently planned it as a 3-season arc, according to the creator of the show. So that's good. Reservoir Dogs, or I'm sorry, not Reservoir Dogs, Reservation Dogs, the show I've talked about numerous times, loving it, already got renewed for season 2. So good on
Oh,
them.
okay. Does that
What
make
if I?
sense? Does that?
Oh yeah, it's a great show. So
Okay.
like the first couple episodes, I was a little like tepid on it, like it was okay. But as I keep going, I'm like, give me more, give me more. I want the next episode. It's really funny. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I'm pumped for that. I hope they give it a couple of years. What if I said the phrase, "Did I do that to the holidays?" How would you
No
feel
way.
about that? We are getting a Urkel animated musical on Cartoon Network.
Oh, no. Okay.
I don't
Is
know,
Jaleel
man.
White? Is Jaleel White
Oh, I'm
coming back?
sure. I didn't see you, but what is he doing? Like, is he going to turn that down? I don't
I guess so. All right. I thought you were gonna say like reunion holiday special is where you're going with that.
know.
Like, okay.
And the last kind of big piece of news I had was Accountant 2 has officially been like announced by the director Gavin O'Connor. He said he had intended it to be a trilogy, and he's getting Ben and Bernthal back. And he's also been talking about Ben about doing another The Way Back, a sequel to that as well.
Oh, all
Which I was
right.
like, that's interesting. I don't know if that needed a sequel, but
Okay.
and Accountant, I like the Accountant, but I was fine with it as a standalone. But I'm here to see where they go with it, and if they build on it,
Hmm.
that could be interesting.
Gotcha.
One more thing I wanted to talk to you about, though, is did you see the Ted Lasso-ish viral thing this week with Brett Goldstein, who plays
Uh,
Roy Kent of the show? He apparently, there was a thing going on Twitter or whatever where people were like, is he real? Is he a digital character? Like, are they going in and digitizing his face? Like, we understand he's a real actor and he's playing the part, but are they doing something to manipulate him to make him so like stone faced and like,
really?
and so he came out on his Instagram and released a video, and he's like, I am a human man, and it was like this whole thing, but he did it with like a cartoon emoji kind of face over him, and he's
Oh,
like, I do regular human things like buffering and moving data from place to place. And it was like this whole thing, and I was like, that is hilarious. So kind of a fun thing. I don't know.
nice. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other news for you?
Just a couple of quick ones. We have teased that Jungle 2 thing. It looks like you said last week, it's
Official.
confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jungle 2. Jungle
Once they hit
2's
100 million, I think, right? That was it. We're
exactly.
waiting for that. Yeah.
Seinfeld, all of it will be available October 1st on Netflix.
Awesome. Maybe I can sell
Rock
my
and roll.
DVDs finally.
Rock and roll. I'm curious because I feel like for the last like 3 years, people were just like, well, I just got stuck rewatching The Office again on
Maybe
Netflix. 'Cause The
Seinfeld will
Office, yeah,
become that. Yeah,
let's see if we
that would be
start seeing
good.
that again there.
Yeah, it's funny because we just talked about Seinfeld yesterday. We were watching rewatching Coda with the wife, and she's like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "That's Marlee Matlin." I was like, "Don't you remember when she was on Seinfeld that one time?"
yeah. I heard a debate of Friends versus Seinfeld debate. And the debate was that Friends was garbage because it doesn't translate to today, but Seinfeld does. And I
I
was
think
like,
Seinfeld
I
has a
was,
more lingering comedy about it. Sure.
yes. I mean, the way that they date in Friends doesn't happen now today. But then I was like, there's whole episodes based around answering machines in Seinfeld.
Sure.
It's a
Sure.
little grandiose statement. Okay, moving along. Big Shot has officially gotten its season 2 for
Oh,
Disney. We are coming back,
okay.
and it says coming soon. So I'm
Okay.
wondering if it like has been filmed, it's been done the way
Yeah.
that they teased it. It was like,
Well,
okay, Big Shot season 2 coming soon.
I mean, just like we were talking about the casting for that mayor of Kingstown, but that thing's already slated to come out. How are you still announcing casting? Like,
Right, right.
yeah.
They asked Oscar Isaac if he would ever return to Star Wars, and he was like, "Nah. Well, if I need a new house or something, I guess, but nah, not really."
If I need a new house, nice, nice. That's a good answer. I like that.
Speaking, this is a segue. Oh, I was going to use this as a joke to open the show, and I forgot. Did you see him kissing Chastain's arm on the red carpet?
Yeah, for their new show coming out. Yeah, yeah.
Intriguing.
Everyone loves it, man. Everyone
Yep.
loved it. Um,
Jason Statham for Hobbs and Shaw Part 2 will not return unless he gets equal pay of The Rock.
okay. Okay, whatever. I wonder how their relationship is. Based on how The Rock and Vin Diesel don't get along. Does he get along with Statham? And I don't know.
Hmm. I was thinking watching that Red Notice trailer, I was like, that chemistry with Ryan Reynolds seems to be fine. Maybe he just moves on from Statham. Like, these are all the men
Yeah,
that The Rock
true,
has broken up with.
true. Let me give you, since I feel like I need to be a completist, the real life player that is going to be in that movie, the Adam Sandler movie, is Juancho Hernan Gomez from the
Oh,
Memphis Grizzlies.
okay. He was on the Knicks very briefly. I think okay.
So there you go. He will be your star of that.
Interesting. Last couple of things I have are from Venice. Oh, big thing with film festivals, folks, as you know, is the standing ovations at the end. Kristen Stewart for Spencer got like a 6-minute ovation, and everyone pretty much said it was for her. Everyone turned and like faced her and gave her a full 6-minute ovation. Dune, 8-minute standing ovation.
Ooh, yeah, I did see some really positive reviews.
Yeah.
I heard somebody said like you can't use the word epic again after this movie. Like,
Ooh, wow. Okay.
so some pretty big statements being made. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It was funny because we watched Shang-Chi in the theater, and that was one of the trailers we saw. And my son was like, "That looks like it sucks." I was like, "Wow, okay, not very positive on the Dune." And then the
Nice.
West Side Story trailer came on, and both my kids were like, we know this movie. Why are they making this again?"
Jeez Louise. There's actually more ovation talk that we will get into in Marvel, but
Okay, okay.
that's it for our Hollywood news. You good? No?
One
Wait.
more thing. One more thing. Let me give you another confirmation. Jaleel White serving as producer and will reprise his iconic role by voicing the main character. So there you go.
Boom. Boom. He's back, baby. All right, that's it for the Hollywood news. On to DC discussion.
DC discussion. They came out with the official fandom thing this week. That was really all I saw. October 16th, they confirmed we're going to get footage of Aquaman 2, the
Boom.
new Batman trailer probably,
Boom.
Black Adam, Flash movie,
Boom.
Shazam 2,
Boom.
Peacemaker series,
Boom.
even the DMZ thing for HBO Max, and Naomi for CW that Ava DuVernay are working on. I mean, there's 20 other things that they listed, animated films, all this stuff. So we're getting a lot of stuff at this fandom. I didn't realize how much DC had in the pipeline. So that actually is very encouraging. Like, ooh, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. Coming off the high of the Suicide Squad, if Aquaman 2 is good, if the Batman is good, if Black Adam is good, Flash movie is good, Shazam 2, those are all encouraging films that we want to see. This could be a good tide turn for DC, and they could take over here.
I agree all around. I'm looking forward to the fandom. October 16th, as you mentioned, we definitely will have a review of it in the DC discussion section.
Sure.
That week or whatever, because it looks like they're going to give us a whole lot of stuff, including footage of all those things that you just mentioned. And I can't believe you glazed over Super Pets. We're gonna get something.
Yeah, some Super Pets. Also the Batman car show, whatever. That's gonna be.
Right. Okay.
That's gonna be in there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. So.
Gotcha. More DC? You good?
That's all I had. Sorry.
Oh, okay. To Shazam, it has officially wrapped. Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. That is officially wrapped, so we're good to go there. Now it just goes into post. And then the other thing I had is Batwoman has cast their Poison Ivy, Bridget Regan. Not really familiar with her, but at least she's going to be playing Poison Ivy on the Batwoman show.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the things in that fandom release because a couple other CW shows are going to be there. Flash and Legends and all that. They're going to kind of talk them up as well. So.
Finishing with DC, on to the Marvel Minute.
Marvel, the only thing I saw, which is kind of interesting, is the Black Widow lawsuit. Apparently, it's possible it could keep the Russo brothers out of returning to direct another film for them. I guess they've already been in talks about coming back to do another movie, and this lawsuit is somehow going to keep them out of it. I wasn't really sure on how or why. I don't know if it's just because maybe they're considered plaintiffs and that, until the lawsuit's completely finished, maybe, or maybe it had something to do with ScarJo, and maybe they were going to bring her back because there's a lot of talk of it being Secret Wars or whatever. There's a way you could bring ScarJo back for that. So
sure,
maybe that has something to do with it. I didn't really get into the specifics, or the article didn't really give me the specifics of it. So, but that's intriguing, and I'd hate to see the Russos not be able to return because of that.
Sure, agreed all around. Agreed. Some Spider-Man No Way Home stuff. There was some type of a leakage of the runtime.
That's the title of the episode right there. Some type of a leakage.
Some type of a leakage. All right. Runtime at 150 minutes, 2.5 hours long. It makes total sense, though. I hate that as well, but it makes total sense with what they want to do. And then people were like, that's a nice round number, almost as if they would give a devoted 50 minutes to one Spider-Man, 50 minutes to another Spider-Man, and 50 minutes to a third Spider-Man. Which, God help me, I hope they do not do that.
Yeah, yeah. Wasn't there something else I sent you this week about, was it WandaVision with the calendar thing? Was that this week? And we got another one
It
that they
is this week, this Friday, yeah, September 10th. That's right.
September 10th. So yeah, I'm interested to see if that pans out to be anything. What could it be? What could is there like a trailer release that needs to come out, or maybe something with like Hawkeye or She-Hulk or something?
Yeah, one of those, or a Doctor Strange trailer, maybe some footage dropped in that capacity, or the She-Hulk. That's not a bad idea. Something to that effect.
Check back next week, because I think Marvel was teasing us there for sure.
Definitely. If you saw the Spider-Man trailer in IMAX, it gave you a bigger view of everything. So you did not just see Charlie Cox's arm slamming down those papers.
You saw that it was really not him.
You saw that it was not Charlie Cox's arm slamming down those papers.
Didn't he come out and confirm it also? Like,
he came out. But of course, nobody's going to believe that. I'm like, of course he's going to, the only idiot to admit that he's in something was Alfred Molina. Everybody else keeps it quiet, right? But if you saw it definitely was not Charlie Cox. And then the last thing I had was beautiful, beautiful clickbait that I bought. Not going to lie, I fell for it. Venice Film Festival, Venom, Let There Be Carnage received a 35-minute standing ovation. I was like, what? No way. Yeah. Right, you're an idiot. There's no chance that received.
You're definitely an idiot. Did you see the poster that they came out for that too? Like a new poster, and Woody's hair on it. It looks awful. Like it looks like an upgrade from the curly wig, but now it looks more like hair all forward, like a kid grabbed scissors and just gave themselves a haircut.
All right, that's it for Marvel Minute. That's it for our show. Time to go forward.
Going forward for this week, we're getting the Doogie Howser reboot thing on Disney Plus this week. Doogie Kamehameha, whatever the hell. Right. Yeah. So, female, version of Doogie Howser. I might check that out. Maybe my daughter will
cameo? Is he going to cameo?
I didn't see anything to that extent. I doubt it, but that would be cool.
Yeah.
Same way you didn't get Tom Hanks and Turner Hooch, I don't think either. Otherwise, we would have heard about
dead. So. Wait, did you see any of that? Did you watch any of that Turner and Hooch?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh, we suffered through 2 eps, but yeah, that was the thing. They killed him off.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks.
It's his son. The guy is Hanks' son.
He crashed on a plane on an island, and we never saw him again. Oh, jeez. All right. I know Craig, if you're listening, he likes the Wu-Tang show on Hulu. That's getting season 2 this week. Voyeurs is dropping on Prime on the 10th, so maybe we'll check that out and give you a review next week. As well as Lucifer on Netflix is starting its final season. I think Roy watches that, so check on your end of September, realm. Maybe you'll get a review of the old Lucifer as it wraps up its show. We're getting a documentary called Blood Brothers on Netflix on the 9th, which is focusing on Malcolm and Muhammad. And I don't know if that's going to be like showing how they actually did kind of work together on some things. And I feel like history kind of makes them almost enemies, or like, hey, they had such differing views, but really they did kind of get along and talk to each other. So I'm guessing that's maybe what the documentary will focus on. There's also dropping a documentary on Prime called Lula Rich. You remember when LuLaRoe was all the thing, and everyone was buying all those ugly mom leggings and selling them to their friends or whatever? It was an obvious pyramid scheme. A lot of people lost money on it, blah, blah, blah. So that's a documentary coming out this week on Amazon Prime. We are also getting, for movie releases for the week, Card Counter is coming to theaters. That's the Oscar Isaac thing that we had talked about a while ago. So that's going to be theaters. We got Malignant in theaters as well as HBO Max. I'm going to check that out. You're probably too scared, but I'll have a review next week.
Yep.
Kate will be dropping on Netflix. This is the Woody Harrelson movie with, what's her name? Elizabeth something? I forget her name. Why can't I think of her name? I don't know. Whatever.
Olsen. Walsh.
It's not an Olsen, no. It's
Perkins.
I don't know. I'll look it up. Also, one thing I'm really looking forward to, Come From Away is going to be releasing on Apple Plus as a live recording of the Broadway musical. I have been wanting to see this one for years. It came here last year. We didn't get a chance to see it. COVID, whatever, canceled plans. So I had plans to see this one. Now I'll be able to watch it at home. I'm pumped. Come From Away. Are you familiar with this one at all?
I haven't seen the show, but I'm familiar.
Well, I think they're releasing it this week because of its ties to 9/11. It's based on the story that a bunch of
Yeah,
planes got diverted to Canada
yeah.
during 9/11 for this small town and what happened in that small town during those couple days. So I'm going to check that out this weekend, and we'll have a review next week.
Mary
We're
Elizabeth.
getting there you go. I missed the Mary
Yeah.
Elizabeth. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Scenes from a Marriage is debuting on the 12th, so we probably won't have a first take yet. Probably won't have a chance to watch it before we review or record next. So,
It's a
but that's
Sunday night.
the HBO. Yeah, it's the HBO show with Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain. So maybe the following week we'll give our kind of first take on it. Spoiler alert, it's going to be good, as well as Why the Last Man, which I've been pumped to see for a long time. That's coming out next Tuesday on FX. I just want to get you out there already thinking about it. We won't have a review or first take till the following episode as well, but that's going to be a good show, I hope. So check that one out. A lot of stuff in the going forward.
Beautiful. Every Thursday on Take Two Podcast, you get that poll. It drops across the board on all of our socials. Jump on there, vote, retweet it, send it to your pals, tell them to vote too. We would love to hear from you. If you need to comment below, feel free to do so, especially you Facebookers. We would love to see your comments and your thoughts on the poll each and every Thursday. On Friday, if you are a Patreon member, boom, you're getting a new episode coming out this Friday. It's only $1 a month. And there's other tier levels in there. You can pay more. We would love to have that because there's other stuff that we can do Patreon-wise, but you get a new episode this Friday we are looking forward to. And then this weekend, it's open. You get to catch up. You get to follow our socials. You get to go back and listen to some old spotlights. Go back and listen to some old episodes if you so desire. And we do so appreciate it. If you're that bored, a rating and review we would greatly appreciate. Jump on there, 5-star rating, and a quick review would be nice.
Yeah, get on our YouTube as well. Hopefully our YouTube will start to grow a little bit more. I'd love to see more subscribers there. Don't forget, also next week, we're going to finish out the Untold series. We're getting the last one of those. And the impeachment series on FX starts. So we'll have a first take on that as well next week.
For episode 256, have a great night, everybody.
See you.